The Home Rule has a list of governmental entities within the CHDO definition, including the PJ itself or other units of general local government or state government, housing authorities, redevelopment authorities, housing finance agencies, or tribal government or housing authorities. And this is really the list that HUD is focused on. But we know there are a lot of other types of governmental bodies that exist, so that's the source of a lot of questions. Some of the more common questions we get involve public schools, community colleges and public universities, and other non-housing regional authorities, like a regional water and sewer district or an airport authority. In most cases, for purposes of the CHDO definition, these other entities are not going to be considered governmental entities. The key issue to consider is whether an agency is a component part of state or local government, or is a separate and distinct legal entity. For example, though there may be a few exceptions in some of our nation's largest cities, in most cases, public schools are not component parts of general local government. Instead, school districts tend to exist separately under state law as their own entity, and are usually overseen by independently elected local school boards. Similarly, most colleges and public universities are separately chartered and exist independent of state or local government. Though the Board of Regents or trustees are often appointed or approved in some way by state or local government, the colleges still exist as separate and distinct legal entities. Non-housing regional authorities, too, so long as they are not just a component piece of a given state or local government jurisdiction, would not be treated as governmental entities for CHDO purposes. So whether we're talking about a school teacher or college professor on a CHDO board, or someone who works for the regional airport, or maybe someone working for a regional public utility district, in most cases they won't be counted as governmental employees. This determination of whether an entity is a governmental entity has two implications within the CHDO definition. First, it helps determine which board members, if any, must be counted towards the 1/3 maximum representation from government officials or employees. And later, when considering whether any of a CHDO's employees are also government officials or employees, we'll use the same definition. As an example, a CHDO board member who was elected to the local school board won't be counted as a government official for this purpose, since the school district is not general local government. However, a CHDO employee who has been appointed to the City Planning Commission does get counted as a government official. There may be situations where things aren't entirely clear. Maybe that's because you're not sure about the legal niceties involved. Maybe there's an entity whose function, but not name, seems to fit within one of the types of governmental entities we're concerned about, like an organization that isn't called a redevelopment authority necessarily, but whose function and operations are substantially the same. If in doubt, CHDO should consult with their PJs on this issue, and PJs should discuss any concerns they have with their HUD field office.